We've all seen it. Narcissists with their phones constantly in hand, barely making eye contact, checking messages, scrolling through social media, and maybe even posting incessantly. While it might seem like a harmless habit or just something that's typical in today's tech-driven world, there's actually a lot more going on beneath the surface when it comes to narcissists and their attachment to their phones. The truth is, for a narcissist, their phone isn't just a communication tool. It's a lifeline for validation, attention, and control. Narcissists thrive on constant external validation, and their phones provide them with an endless stream of attention, whether it's through social media likes, messages from admirers, or monitoring what others are doing. This is the secret reason why they're glued to their phones. It feeds their ego in a way that face-to-face interactions can't always do. First, let's talk about how social media plays into this dynamic. For a narcissist, social media is the perfect platform to curate an image. They can present a highly polished version of themselves, exaggerating their successes, sharing only the most flattering photos, and broadcasting achievements to a wide audience. They're constantly seeking approval and admiration from others, and social media is the easiest way to get that. Every like, comment, or follow feels like a hit of validation, reaffirming their sense of superiority and importance. But it's not just about posting. Narcissists also use social media to compare themselves to others. They need to feel like they're better, more successful, more attractive, or more interesting than those around them. So, they're not just scrolling for fun. They're doing a deep dive into what everyone else is doing, measuring themselves against others and finding ways to feel superior. And of course, if someone else's life looks better than theirs, it can trigger a wave of envy or insecurity. This is why they're constantly checking their phones. They're trying to stay one step ahead in their constant competition with the world. Now, aside from social media, there's another reason narcissists are so attached to their phones: control. Narcissists are obsessed with being in control of their relationships and interactions. Their phone allows them to manage multiple conversations, manipulate people, and keep tabs on their supply of attention. Whether they're texting multiple people at once, sending flirty messages to keep people hooked, or even ghosting someone to create a sense of mystery and power, they're using their phone as a tool to maintain control over how people perceive and interact with them. Have you ever noticed how narcissists can be incredibly charming over text, but distant in person? That's because their phone gives them the ability to craft the perfect message. They can take their time to respond, think about the most flattering or manipulative thing to say, and control the conversation in a way that face-to-face interactions don't allow. They thrive on the power dynamics that texting or messaging apps provide. They can keep someone waiting, ignore a message to create tension, or love bomb with affectionate texts when they feel someone pulling away. This constant communication through their phone feeds their need for control, allowing them to manipulate people at their own pace. What's really interesting is how narcissists use their phones to juggle multiple relationships or supplies at once. Narcissists often have several people they're keeping on the line, whether it's romantic interests, friends they can manipulate, or even family members they want to keep under their thumb. Their phone allows them to maintain these connections without anyone else knowing. It's common for narcissists to engage in a cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard with multiple people at the same time. And their phone is the perfect tool to do this without missing a beat. They can love bomb one person in the morning, criticize another in the afternoon, and breadcrumb a third person at night, all while keeping everyone in a state of emotional uncertainty. This constant need to manage relationships and control people through their phone also ties into their fear of abandonment. Deep down, narcissists are terrified of being alone or irrelevant. So they keep a rotation of people close at hand to ensure they're never without attention. Their phone allows them to feel in control of who they're engaging with and who is giving them the validation they crave. They might be texting an ex, talking to someone they're stringing along, or keeping tabs on a former friend they've had a falling out with. Anything to make sure they have a constant supply of attention to ward off the anxiety that comes with feeling abandoned or ignored. Let's not forget the element of secrecy that phones provide. Narcissists are notorious for keeping secrets and living double lives, and their phone is often the gateway to their secret world. Whether they're hiding affairs, maintaining secret social media accounts, or keeping conversations with people you don't know about, their phone becomes a tool for deceit. They might hide their phone, get defensive if you ask who they're texting, or constantly change passwords to ensure no one can see what they're really up to. Their phone becomes an extension of their need for control, manipulation, and secrecy, and it's why they're always glued to it. Another element at play is the narcissist's desire to stay relevant. Narcissists have an intense fear of being forgotten or overlooked, and their phone is a way to make sure that doesn't happen. By constantly engaging with people, whether it's through social media or messaging apps, they're keeping themselves in the forefront of everyone's minds. They want to be talked about, thought about, and admired at all times, and their phone provides them with a direct link to the attention they need. If they're not actively receiving validation, they're seeking it out, liking posts, leaving comments, or sending messages to ensure people remember they exist. One final aspect to consider is that narcissists use their phones as an escape from reality. When they're not the center of attention in real life, or when things aren't going their way, they can turn to their phone to create a world where they're always in control. Maybe they didn't get the reaction they wanted from someone in person, so they'll go online and find someone who will give them the praise or admiration they crave. Their phone allows them to avoid the discomfort of reality by retreating into a digital space where they can curate their interactions and remain the center of attention. So, what happens when you try to address their phone addiction or point out how glued they are to their screen? You'll often find that narcissists become incredibly defensive. They might accuse you of being paranoid, controlling, or overreacting. They'll do anything to deflect attention away from their behavior because they don't want to lose access to the validation and control their phone provides. For them, their phone is more than just a device. It's a way to manage their ego, maintain their power over others, and ensure they're never without attention.